A wealthy businesswoman gets a speeding ticket, walks into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, and immediately starts insulting him, refusing to pay, and tries to walk out mid-heeing. But what Judge Caprio does next will remind you that money doesn't buy respect and that arrogance has consequences. This is Patricia Whitmore's story, and it shows what happens when entitlement meets real authority in a courtroom where character matters more than your bank account. Let us know where you're watching from, because this story about accountability resonates everywhere people are tired of watching wealthy individuals think rules don't apply to them. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio prepares for what seems like a routine speeding case when his bailiff whispers a warning. Your Honor, this defendant has been difficult with court staff. The citation, Patricia Whitmore, age 48, cited for driving 25 miles per hour over the speed limit in a residential neighborhood. The officer's notes mention defendant was argumentative, claimed she was too important to be stopped, refused to sign citation initially. Patricia Whitmore enters wearing designer clothes head to toe, carrying a luxury handbag, checking her phone constantly and making it clear through her body language that she considers this proceeding beneath her. Miss Whitmore, Judge Caprio begins professionally. You're here regarding a speeding citation. Please approach. Patricia walks forward slowly, still looking at her phone. Miss Whitmore, I need your full attention. Please put your phone away. Patricia looks up with visible annoyance. I'm handling important business matters. Can we make this quick? I have actual important things to do today. The courtroom immediately tenses at her dismissive tone toward the judge. Miss Whitmore, this court is important and you'll give it your full attention. Now, you were cited for driving 55 in a 30 miles per hour zone. How do you plead? This whole thing is ridiculous. That speed limit is absurd for that road. I drive it every day and I've never had a problem. Judge Caprio's expression remains calm but firm. That's not what I asked. How do you plead to the charge? Fine, whatever. I was speeding. Can I just pay this and leave? I don't have time for this. Judge Caprio reviews the citation details while Patricia continues showing impatience. Ms. Whitmore, 25 m over the speed limit in a residential area is serious. There are children, families. Patricia interrupts. I know that neighborhood. Those people should teach their kids not to play near the street. I shouldn't have to drive 30 m an hour because parents can't supervise their children properly. The courtroom reacts with audible disapproval at her callous attitude toward child safety. Miss Whitmore, the speed limit exists to protect everyone in that community, not just children. Your attitude toward this citation concerns me. My attitude. Patricia's voice rises. My attitude is that I'm a successful businesswoman being lectured by a small-town judge about driving on a road I use daily. This is a waste of my time and taxpayer money. Judge Caprio stands, his patience clearly being tested. Miss Whitmore, I'm going to remind you that you're in a courtroom. You will show respect for this process. Respect for what? For you rubber-stamping tickets to generate revenue. I know how this works. I'll pay your fine and be done with it. Miss Whitmore, your fine for this violation is $350 plus court costs. Patricia laughs dismissively. That's it. I spend more than that on lunch. Just add it to my credit card and I'll be on my way. Judge Caprio's expression hardens. This isn't a restaurant, Miss Whitmore. This is a court of law, and you're treating it like an inconvenience rather than a serious matter. Because it is an inconvenience. You're treating me like a criminal for driving a little fast on an empty road. Judge Caprio attempts to explain the seriousness of her violation, but Patricia's entitlement only intensifies. Miss Whitmore, I'm looking at your driving record. You have 3 prior speeding tickets in the last 2 years. So what? I paid them all. That's how this works, right? You give tickets, I pay them, everyone's happy. No, Miss Whitmore, that's not how this works. Each violation represents dangerous driving that could harm others. Patricia rolls her eyes visibly. Oh, please. I'm an excellent driver. I've been driving for 30 years without an accident. Your lack of accidents is fortunate, but it doesn't excuse repeated speeding violations. Look, Judge, Patricia says his title with obvious condescension. I'm a busy person. I run 3 companies. I employ over 200 people, and I contribute more to this city's tax base than most people in this courtroom will earn in their lifetimes. The gallery gasps at her blatant arrogance and disrespect. Miss Whitmore, your financial status is irrelevant to your obligation to follow traffic laws. Really? Because from where I'm standing, it seems like this whole system exists to shake down people like me who actually contribute to society. Judge Caprio's voice becomes stern. Miss Whitmore, I'm going to ask you one more time to show respect for this court. And if I don't, what are you going to do, Judge? Find me more money that I don't care about? You can't intimidate me. I'm not some scared kid or poor person who has to bow and scrape before you. The courtroom is completely silent, shocked by Patricia's open contempt for judicial authority. Miss Whitmore, your attitude in this courtroom is as concerning as your speeding. Both show a disregard for rules and the safety of others. Patricia picks up her phone again. Are we done here? Because I actually have important meetings today. Put that phone down, Miss Whitmore. We are not done. Actually, I think we are. Patricia turns toward the door. Send me the bill. I'll have my assistant pay it. If you can't believe what you're watching, hit that like button and subscribe to Judge Stories YT. We share incredible courtroom moments like this. Miss Whitmore, if you take one more step toward that door without my permission, you will be held in contempt of court. Patricia stops, turning back with a smirk. Contempt for what? For not being impressed by your little kingdom here? For showing repeated disrespect to this court? For attempting to leave in the middle of a hearing? And for demonstrating the exact attitude that makes you a danger on our roads. A danger. I'm a danger because I don't grovel before a judge in a tiny municipal court. Judge Caprio's voice becomes powerful, filling the courtroom. You're a danger because you believe rules don't apply to you. You're a danger because you think your wealth exempts you from common courtesy and legal obligations. And you're a danger because you have no regard for the safety of others. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. Patricia takes another step toward the door. Bailiff, please ensure Ms. Whitmore remains in this courtroom. The bailiff steps forward and Patricia's confidence wavers for the first time. You can't keep Mayor, Ms. Whitmore. I absolutely can. You're in my courtroom and you'll stay until this hearing is concluded. Now sit down. Patricia remains standing. Her arrogance fighting with the sudden realization that she might not have as much control as she thought. Miss Whitmore, sit down now or I'll add a contempt charge to your speeding violation. Patricia slowly returns to her position, no longer looking at her phone. Now, let's discuss your situation clearly. You were cited for excessive speeding in a residential area. This is your 4th speeding ticket in 2 years. You've shown no remorse, no understanding of why this matters, and you've repeatedly disrespected this court. I don't have to stand here and be lectured by, yes, Miss Whitmore, you do. That's exactly what's happening right now. The courtroom watches as Judge Caprio dismantles Patricia's entitlement piece by piece. Judge Caprio sits back, his expression showing determination rather than anger. Miss Whitmore, your original fine was $350. However, given your behavior in this courtroom, I'm increasing it to the maximum, $500 plus court costs. Patricia's face shows genuine surprise. You can't do that. I can and I am. Additionally, I'm requiring you to attend a driver safety course within 30 days. A driver safety course? I've been driving for decades, clearly unsuccessfully given your 4 speeding tickets. You will complete the course and provide proof to this court. This is outrageous. I'll appeal this. You have that right, Miss Whitmore. I encourage you to explain to an appellate judge how you treated this courtroom and see if they're sympathetic. Patricia's arrogance begins to crack as the reality of consequences sets in. Furthermore, I'm adding a contempt of court charge for your behavior today. That's an additional $200 fine. For what? For not kissing your ring. For repeatedly disrespecting this court, for attempting to leave during a hearing, and for showing complete disregard for legal proceedings. So, your total is now $700 plus court costs, which brings it to $850 plus mandatory traffic school. Patricia's face reens, realizing her attitude has cost her significantly more than if she'd simply been respectful. You're punishing me for being successful. I'm holding you accountable for breaking the law and for showing contempt for the judicial system. Your wealth is irrelevant to your obligations as a citizen.
I want to speak to your supervisor. I don't have a supervisor, Miss Whitmore.
I'm the chief judge of this municipal court. But again, you're welcome to appeal. Subscribe to Judge Stories YT if you want to see more moments where entitled behavior meets real consequences. Patricia stands silently, perhaps for the first time realizing that her money and status mean nothing in this courtroom. Miss Whitmore, I want you to understand something. This court sees people from every background. Some can barely afford their fines. Others, like you, consider them pocket change, but the law applies equally to everyone. Patricia remained silent, her earlier arrogance completely deflated. When you speed through residential neighborhoods, you're not just breaking a rule, you're risking lives. Children live there. Elderly people walk there. Families exist there. Your convenience is not more important than their safety. Your attitude today showed me exactly why you keep getting tickets. You don't think rules apply to you. You think your business success exempts you from basic courtesy and legal obligations. For the first time, Patricia looks genuinely uncomfortable rather than dismissive. I'm going to tell you what I tell everyone who appears before me. This court cares about your character more than your bank account. Today you showed very poor character. Patricia finally speaks. Can I just pay the fine and leave? Yes, but first you'll apologize to this court for your disrespectful behavior. What? You heard me. You will apologize for your disrespect, or I'll add another contempt charge. Patricia stands silently, pride wearing with pragmatism. Miss Whitmore, I'm waiting. I apologize for my behavior in court today. Miss Whitmore, say it like you mean it. Patricia takes a breath. Your Honor, I apologize for being disrespectful to you and to this court. My behavior was inappropriate. Judge Caprio nods. Apology accepted. Now, let me be clear about what happens next. You will pay $850 in fines and costs. You will complete traffic school within 30 days. You will provide proof of completion to this court. If you receive one more speeding ticket in the next year, I will personally review your case and consider license suspension. Patricia nods, finally understanding the gravity of her situation. And Miss Whitmore, one more thing. The next time you're driving through that neighborhood at 55 mph an hour, I want you to remember this moment. Remember that your time is not more valuable than other people's lives. Yes, Your Honor. You're dismissed. The clerk will process your payment. As Patricia walks toward the clerk's office, she moves differently, less arrogantly, more soberly, perhaps beginning to understand that respect isn't given based on wealth, but earned through character and behavior. Patricia Whitmore's story reminds us that entitlement and arrogance will always meet their match in a fair courtroom, that money doesn't buy respect, and that accountability applies to everyone, regardless of how successful they think they are. Judge Frank Caprio proved once again that real authority doesn't need to be loud or aggressive. It simply needs to be firm, fair, and unwavering in the face of disrespect. Here's the question for all of us. When we achieve success, do we use it to demand special treatment, or do we remember that wealth and status don't exempt us from basic decency and legal obligations? Patricia learned that courtrooms are the great equalizer, where your character matters infinitely more than your bank balance, and where judges like Frank Caprio ensure that justice truly is blind to financial status.